to the quite interesting world of kitsch, where tonight everything is in the worst possible taste. Let's meet those 70s icons, the girl off the Athena tennis poster, Sue Perkins. And complete with medallion and chest wig, it's Reginald D. Hunter. On the waterbed in black satin pyjamas, Jimmy Carr. And not really giving a flying duck, Alan Davis. Now, if you want to avail yourself of my avocado bathroom ensuite with all the trimmings, all you have to do is call. Sue goes. Reginald goes. Jimmy goes. And Alan goes. There we are. So, here's a load of old tat that includes everything but the kitsch sink. Have a look. A flowery chair. A cute balloon. A Tiffany lamp and a donkey cigarette dispenser. Now, which is kitsch?
See, I don't know where kitsch becomes tacky. There's a sort of hinterland, isn't there?
We're going unusually for QI by dictionary definition. It's a quality, something that a kitsch thing must have in order to be kitsch.
Ubiquity?
No.
Popular. Ordinary.
Ordinary, worthless.
Yes.
Worthless.
So that would be that chair, wouldn't it?
Okay. Well, the Tiffany lamps, I saw a Tiffany lamp in a store. It was in the King's Road,
Yeah.
and I thought, oh, it's kind of a kitschy kind of thing, but it's all right. And it was like 80 grand or something ludicrous.
Oh, yes. They
So
sold
you
a
bought
very...
it.
So I bought 3.
There was one from the 1890s that was sold for $2.8 million. They are far from worthless, the originals. But as you know, there are many imitations, which would, I suppose, count as kitsch, because essentially it's a stained glass Art Nouveau lamp, where the bronze...
2.8 million, and then you can just very easily knock it over, can't you?
That would be...
Come in pissed and
But
knock
that's
it
true.
over.
That's true of Ming China, I suppose, as well. So what about the balloon animal?
Is that not the one... That's not a balloon animal, is it? That's a... What's the guy called? The American artist.
A guy who makes who was dating La Cicciolina. Jeff Koons, is it?
Jeff Koons is the right answer. His work goes for a huge amount of money, vast. I mean, one of his pieces went for $38 million.
It really did look like a dog.
Yes, he does balloon animals, and that is a balloon animal, as you can see. Also, he has 3 Michael Jackson and Bubbles porcelain figures, which sold for $5.6 million. And he just does stuff that is kitsch in every sense, but the worthless sense.
But wasn't Warhol doing the same thing with the pictures of Elvis and Marilyn and...
Yes, they're not really so much kitsch as kind of an... I don't know, they raise the everyday into something...
Yeah, the reappropriation of everyday culture.
Exactly right. Kitsch somehow implies something more ornamental, more tchotchka, as they would say in Yiddish.
No use just using another word I don't know. That's not helping anyone. It's a bit more tchotchka. Oh, right, no, I get you. It is a bit more tchotchka now you say it.
Well, we'll have one more look from our little conveyor belt, and that's a chintz armchair. Chintz has become somewhat unfashionable, but when it first arrived from... Do you know where it first came from?
Bournemouth.
Originally, I think it comes from John Lewis.
Let's move a little bit away.
China.
India is the answer.
Oh.
It arrived as early as the 1680s in Europe and was so successful and so remarkably popular that in the court of Versailles, Louis declared that it should be illegal everywhere except in his court, so because it was ruining the French textile industry. And the same happened in Britain in 1720. All chintz was banned because our own weavers were going out of business because it was considered such a luxury item. So
I'm just getting a lot of retinal feedback from it.
yes, the word chintzy is not a compliment these days. Here's a really... I mean, I'd be so impressed. I'll give you 50 points if you can tell me something really unusual about the word chintz. It shares with only 2 other words in the English language, as far as I know.
Oh, OK. Is it to do with the Scrabble score?
No.
Is it...
It'll be something to do with the Z.
Not exactly. They're all 6-letter words. Almost chintz. and biopsy.
Do all the letters of the alphabet appear in those words in order?
Not all the letters of the alphabet, no.
It was a long shot, but I mean, I'm not up on spelling.
The letters are in order.
The letters are in alphabetical order.
Oh, wow.
Well, I kind of got that.
You kind of did, yes.
Yeah,
You said
well,
all the letters of the alphabet.
26.
Well, right, knock off a few of them. I got 20 more
But it's
than the
amazing
right
how
answer.
rare that is. Biopsy, almost, and chintz are in alphabetical order. If you know of any more, please don't write in.
You try and you think of a couple of words, you know, you think, horse, no. Dog, no.
It does rather come after it.
Almond,
Do you know what
And
the
then
issue
you
with
give
that
up.
is?
Yes, you do.
Basically, you could say to anyone, oh, apart from, armadillo as well as the other one. People never bother working these things out. If you say it's an anagram as well, people never sit down and do it.
No, but I just have, and that isn't.
Yeah, that isn't right.
It's got A in the middle.
All right. The A was the only giveaway there.
Yeah, it really was a bit of a giveaway.
Yeah.
So there's a chintz chair, and finally we had on our conveyor belt this lovely object here.
Oh, my God. You're so lucky.
Oh, I want that.
You put... Yeah, out comes a cigarette.
I don't want to smoke it, though,
It
but...
poos a cigarette.
Well, I think that's what they should do. Instead of going, oh, we're going to get rid of all cigarette advertising, I think they should say they all come out of donkeys' arses.
Yes. This would be kitsch, because it's worthless. Well, it's £6. And it's pretty kitsch, to be honest, isn't it?
I like it, though. I'll buy it off you for
It's
a fiver.
yours.
Oh, you are a darling.
There you are. Yours to cut out and keep.
Yeah.
Hello.
Anything out there?
Get off. He's just prolapsed. Prolapsed my donkey.
Did you just finger her ass?
I literally did.
Well, you're not to.
Yeah, I'm putting that away from your
If you
roaming
would, please.
anal fingers.
That's it. So, now... yeah.
Fries in alphabetical order.
The important thing is that there are lots of words enough, but the important thing, it has to be
So
6
is ant.
letters.
Yeah.
That's what's so hard about it. So, let's look at some things that may or may not be kitsch, like
like
the
to go
fluffy
for-
dice.
I like the way we can go from like heavy, obscure, depthful meaning words to donkeys, assholes in the same.
That's what we like to think of as the QI difference.
Range.
Fluffy dice. Is there a word for that? Tacky is the word I would probably use. Is that wrong of me?
But then they're used ironically now, aren't they?
Well,
People
that's
don't-
what's so
when they
interesting.
first came out, it would have been a tacky thing to have in your
Yeah.
cortina in the late 70s, and now it's kind of an ironic thing.
Ditto those things behind me that are also on the screen, lava lamps.
Yeah.
And
I've
those...
got a lava lamp.
Have you? Yeah.
Yep.
Excellent. And the word one tends to use of that is...
Arsehole.
I was going to suggest retro.
Sorry. Retro.
Yeah. So, have you got any of these, Reg?
No. In fact, I can say safely that I've never had any of those things.
Not one? No gnomes in your garden?
No, man.
So are they kitsch or are they just... What are they?
They're, again, sort of postmodern ironic now,
Yes,
aren't
they are, aren't they?
Gnomes seem to suggest something, and I don't know what they suggest, but I know for years when people see gnomes, they go, "Oh, you got a gnome," and you're like, "What that mean?" "Oh, man," and you don't know what that means.
Because do Americans have gnomes in their gardens?
I mean, the fake ones, right?
Yes, yeah, obviously.
I don't know, because, like sometimes you see them and you don't know if it's like an Irish offshoot of something. And
Yes.
on the end of that doll with the...
Do you know what that is?
well, my aunt had one, and it was supposed to obscure the fact that you are a person who owns toilet paper.
That's it. It's well done. It is indeed.
You're
because
not that type of person.
No, I don't. I don't have a bottom, and I don't push things out of it every day, and therefore I would have no need for any sort of paper to wipe that residue.
The donkey shit pusher would have been horrifying.
So kitsch is really in the eye of the beholder. Now, why should you worry about a man in fluffy slippers?
I think I wouldn't have any problem with his fluffy slippers. It's more the dressing gown I would have issues with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be a giraffe.
I don't want to know where the neck is.
Does it?
Well, as ever, we've given you a picture that is completely inappropriate. If I told you that the slippers in question were made of human blood, the blood of a young man's arm,
I'm worried now.
and of emu feathers.
There's no way to know that off of first glance. There's just no way
No,
to know.
you wouldn't know that. So now, where do emus live?
Australia.
Yeah, he just took the words out of your mouth,
Yeah,
didn't
well, he did.
Certain indigenous Australian peoples,
Aborigines, I'm going to say?
yeah, in their belief systems, if someone committed a crime, then they had a figure called a kodecha, who wore these slippers. And in order to wear the slippers, which is quite tricky, he had to dislocate his small toes. That was part of the thing. And there was a little hole for the small toe to poke out of. And he would find the perpetrator of this crime, whatever it might be, and he would point a bone at him, and the perpetrator of the crime would freeze and then die, presumably through psychosomatic or a sort of, you know, just because he was so terrified that the taboo was real, that he did die.
You would have thought if someone's coming after you to kill you with these toes dislocated, you could get away.
Yes. But
You would have thought there's
there was-
one great advantage
was
they're
a-
giving you.
I think they've just made wider slippers. I mean, just so that you could fit all of the toes in without having to dislocate and then stick the weird, gnarly one
I agree
up the
the dislocation is an odd part of it, but when you think about it, in order for us to pass judgment on people, we have to put something made of horsehair on our head. I mean, we have our own tribal ways of dealing with injustice.
Are those boomerangs there in their hands?
They're probably Kylie's, yes.
Do you know the boomerang joke?
Go on then.
No, it'll come back to you.
Well, I walked into that one. Oh, dear.
It sounds a little bit like, you know, bringing someone in for questioning and then to, like, intimidate them, you start torturing yourself in front of them. Like, how you like that? Now tell me where your mama at.
That would freak someone out, you're right.
Yeah, but I don't know if they tell you the truth.
All right, I'll talk.
What was that one we have where people, you put your shoes on back to front and then people can't find you?
The invisibility shoes or the shoes where...
You turn them around
Well, that would sort of
and then
work.
you walk along and, you know...
And people walk the opposite direction.
Backwards,
Yeah,
those shoes.
Quite difficult.
You've got to
but
lose
these-
some
These were
toes.
special shoes.
Well, there's another kind of special shoe, the cow shoe. Who do you think might use the cow shoe?
A cow.
So, well, they already have cow's feet. They don't need to pretend to be cows.
I want to be cow. A horse.
No, human beings wore them, but they gave out cow footprints.
Oh, like, I don't...
Rustlers.
Well, actually, rustlers probably did use them as well. It was during Prohibition.
Right,
It was,
bootleggers.
Yeah, bootleggers. So they could, you know, move their cases of stuff across the desert.
A
or
cow field.
Looking as if it was just a cow field, exactly.
Oh, yeah. So we just... So they think the cows have gone from one bar to another.
This cow looks like it was pissed and only had 2 legs.
Went downstairs to the club and came up again. Got in the taxi.
This cow stood against the fence and there was a big puddle of them.
While on the subject of rustlers, there was a rustler called George Big-Nose Parrott, who was a cattle rustler, and he was hanged, and Dr. John and he was skinned.
Was he?
Oh,
Yeah.
that's unnecessary.
And Dr. John Osborne made a pair of shoes out of his skin, and he became governor of Wyoming
Of course he did. No one's going
for
to challenge him. He's a
Democratic.
nutter.
And he wore those shoes at his inaugural ball.
You sound like a lovely man.
Yes, charmer.
At what stage did that become unacceptable then?
Well, it was as late as 1893. You'd think it would have been unacceptable.
Did he wait till the man was dead and then he like capitalized and said, I will seize the skin, or he killed the man and then he started raking the man's skin off and like, I got what I wanted and that's why I caused your death?
No, he was hanged first.
He sang first and then
Then-
he went,
then he
nobody
took-
want this? And
Yeah, quite. It's only going to waste, otherwise.
He's standing there barefoot looking at this man.
Shoes written all over it.
Not pleasant, I grant you. But that's life was cheap in those days in the West. So stop me when you know what I'm talking about. Originally made out of shower curtains, could be used as wallpaper, works as a burglar alarm, prevents sweaty toilet syndrome, covered Farrah Fawcett when she modelled for Playboy, good for stress relief, and wraps things up so they don't break.
Nylon. Lino.
What was the toilet syndrome?
But don't worry about that because that's quite hard to guess.
Rubber.
It wraps things up and...
Plastic. Cellophane.
Bubble wrap.
Bubble wrap! Yes. I'll tell you a few things about bubble wrap. It was invented in... Guess what year it was invented?
1947.
It was 1957. It was 1957 by Alfred Fielding and Mark Chavan, who put two shower curtains together, hoping to find some use for it. And it wasn't until they...
What? That's how they invented it. That's a crazy shot in the dark, isn't it? They thought you could put a couple of pencils together and see if we come up with anything.
Does this... What?
They thought it could
They
be
were
sold...
clearly covering the bed
Yeah.
to protect the mattress.
Oh, now. They thought it... They
And
thought
as
it...
they lay there, they heard pop, pop.
Was that you? No, it wasn't me. You might be onto something here.
This must be the shower curtain.
They thought it could be sold as wallpaper, then that it didn't work, and nor did greenhouse insulation, which they also used it for. And it wasn't until 1960, 3 years later, they hit on the idea of wrapping up components for IBM. And since then, the Sealed Air Corporation now makes enough every year to encircle the world 10 times. That's pretty impressive, isn't it?
Well, that's good if we ever have to send the world anywhere.
Encircle the...
Unfortunately, you'd send it Royal Mail and it would get lost, so...
The thing about that is,
Yeah.
where's it all go then? Because it just goes in the bin, doesn't it, bubble wrap? Once you
Goes in the
popped
bin,
it-
or you sit in front of the telly,
once you
relieving
popped it
yourself.
all, then
You know what I mean.
yes.
Yeah.
Let's get back to the bubble wrap. If you put it in the bin, where does it all go?
Oh, it goes in that sort of whirlpool between...
Oh, no,
in
the Great
Hawaii,
Pacific
yes,
Giant.
The size of Texas.
That vast
Yes,
eddy,
oh,
which is
oh
full
dear,
of,
let's
like,
hope not.
bin liners and...
The sweaty toilet thing is apparently you stick it inside of a cistern, because in hot tropical countries, the toilet cistern sweats, and it apparently cures that. Now, I've got this little test for you. Here we are.
Right.
And with any luck, the audience might have some bubble wrap too. They're waving their bubble wrap. Thank you,
actually-
audience. Do not pop it. This is a really important exercise.
So what do you mean, don't pop it?
Don't pop it. Do not. No. This is really important.
Okay,
No
okay.
problem.
This is
though?
a test of your worthiness. Don't pop it yet.
One of mine's already popped. I didn't do it.
No, that's all right, as long as you didn't. Because in 2013, a group of Yale psychologists, they found another use for bubble wrap, which was to measure aggression, all right? They showed pictures of cute animals, all right? And were... no, wait. Stop it. People were told to pop bubble wrap as they watched. They thought that it was a test for their motor activity and memory. In fact, it was a test for what's called cute aggression. If you see something very cute, you start popping more and more. Not because they wanted to hurt the animals, but because they were frustrated at not being able to touch them and cuddle them. And this is called cute aggression. It's when you kind of go, oh, like that. So, audience, hold your bubble wrap. We're going to show you some very cute animals, and it's all up to you.
Okay.
Let's
Okay.
start with the cuteness.
Oh, dear.
That's not. Come on, that's not that cute.
It's
not
sort of
that
dead.
cute.
It's kind of dead.
He's not that cute. Yeah, I think he's been shot. He does look like he's been shot.
Oh, the blue-eyed
No, not that cute. Not worth a pop.
Yeah, that's getting quite a few pop.
Look at his little eye.
No, I'm not done yet. I want a dog, and then I'm going to pop my load.
That's the first time I've heard that phrase
Yeah,
since last night.
Oh,
That's
that
pretty
was
cute.
the last one. He's
Not cute, ginger.
All right. You can put away your bubble wrap now.
That kitten is basically saying, help me, they're about to close the lid on this box.
He's probably the Schrodinger's cat.
Yeah,
He's
he
good
is,
about to do the
yeah. I'm not going to
experiment.
exist in a minute.
Yeah. You may like to know that the last Monday in January is Bubble Wrap Awareness Day.
Oh, good.
It's the appreciation of Bubble Wrap
That's
Day.
in my
I'm
diary.
sure they have a website.
Yeah.
They must do.
And Rhett Allain of Wired magazine calculated that you need to wrap yourself in 39 layers of bubble wrap in order to survive falling out a 6th-floor window. Oh, please don't try that at home.
Because you don't have a 6-story house?
Maybe that.
So, 6. If you wrapped yourself in bubble wrap 6 times, you could jump out of a building and you'd be...
No, 39
36.
times.
39.
Oh, thank God, we clarified.
Yeah.
So you're going to go up to the 6th story of your house.
I'm going up to the 39th story and wrapping myself 6 times. Should, by my calculations, I should be fine.
Dear. Just out of interest, do you know what a group of kittens is called? There is a group name for kittens.
A puke.
Is it a sack of?
No, it also begins... You are bad. But a group of kittens is actually called a kindle, oddly enough.
Really?
Yeah.
A kindle of
Kindle.
kittens.
Oh.
Yeah. Is that just for kittens or is it for cats?
Just for kittens. Anyway, so here are tonight's specials. There we are. See if you can read that.
Oh, yeah.
They're on the board as well. Plat du jour. Sea kittens.
Sea kittens.
Sea kittens is a made-uppy phrase by people who don't want us to eat fish.
Oh, so they tried to make us go into a bubble wrap mode by calling
Basically.
it sea kitten instead of cod.
So that would be a group of people who are very against anything to do with any kind of aggression or beastliness to animals.
Which would be vegetarians.
No, an actual specific organisation.
PETA?
PETA or...
PETA is the right answer. The People's... Oh, what is it? Something for ethical treatment of animals. Something for ethical treatment of animals. People for the ethical treatment of animals. I assume. Not porpoises for the ethical treatment of animals. Fish eaters for the ethical treatment of animals. And so they thought that if they called all fish sea kittens, people would say, I wouldn't want to put a hook in a sea kitten. So
Well,
that was the
you know,
idea.
so
I think, if
a
anything,
lake
it would make me
puppy.
want to try kittens.
It's obviously not worked, though, in that case, have they? And we've also got nymphs of dawn.
Nymphs of the Golden
I know
Dawn.
one thing there.
Yes, go on.
Certainly had the nymphs of the Golden Dawn.
Which are nymphs of the Golden Dawn?
Which are they?
Yes.
Are they something like... Are they oysters?
They're not oysters.
Then I was missold.
Yeah, they were first served for the Prince of Wales.
Sounds like a strip
actually.
club.
In 1908... They were served for the Prince of Wales in 1908, who would have been the future George V. They were actually a creation of one of the great chefs, or the great chef, really, of the 19th century.
Auguste Escoffier.
Very well said. And he persuaded the British to eat this dish, specifically the Prince of Wales, by calling it cuisse de nymphe de l'aurore, thighs of the nymphs of dawn.
Frog's legs.
Yeah.
Frog's legs is the right answer. And there's a picture of frog's legs.
Yeah.
And they are, of course, now a standard dish that people eat very happily. Tastes like chicken, as everything does, that you're a bit scared of. And it's...
I said that rooster's testicles don't taste like chicken. I've had them.
Have you had rooster's
I've
testicles?
had rooster's
This is one of these things you do, isn't it, with Giles
Eating
Corran? You force
testicles.
yourself to
Yeah.
eat testicles.
Oh, I don't force myself.
What are his testicles?
His testicles taste like chicken.
Oh, I thought they might. We've got a couple left. Mendip Wolfie.
Is that what PETA called kittens? So we wouldn't know.
No, where are the Mendip?